You're late. Stare at the wall. How many of you are there?
One.
How many of you are there?
3.
Can I hear the Greek alphabet, please?
Hazing. It's a word that generates negative feelings and conjures up images of paddling and excessive binge drinking. But what exactly is hazing, and who defines what hazing is? What does Susquehanna University think hazing is? And most importantly, does hazing really happen? Many students seek to be a part of a larger organization or club in their college career. We wanted to find out if these rituals behind student initiations were true to their stereotypes. In order to do this, we interviewed individuals from Greek life and athletics here on campus. First, we meet Andrea Hoppenjans, Director of Campus Activities and Greek Advisor. Stevie Ray and Cameron Carl, both brothers of the Phi Sigma Kappa fraternity. Paige Hartsmith, a former member of a sorority here at Susquehanna. An anonymous source who is a current member of Greek life here at the school. Jared Myers, former member of the Susquehanna Crusaders football team. And finally, Matt Wade, former Crusaders football player. We asked our subjects a series of questions regarding hazing, rituals, and initiation processes. This is what they had to say.
Hazing to me is anything physical or mental that would sort of belittle you, and that I guess it's more of a physical thing. Like all the stereotypes of hazing, that's what I consider hazing, like paddling or branding, all that kind of stuff. So usually it can be mental too, but that's what I think of it.
Well, I think hazing is a word that is invoked to give a bad idea or like a bad sense to what is actually going on.
My definition of hazing would be an event or series of events that are not harmful to individuals but bring them together as a whole.
Oh, so it's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anything other than normal locker room behavior, anything that's out of the ordinary that happens.
I think hazing is where you're like defaming someone or you're hurting someone violently, or you're making them do something that they don't want to do.
What is the school's technical policy on hazing?
Well, it's a couple pages long, and
Right.
it's in the Student Code of Conduct.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that we could review as well. And,
Okay.
and that definition of hazing doesn't just apply to fraternities and sororities. That applies to any student group on campus, athletics, academic departments, even things like that. So that definition of hazing, you know, we could take a look at the specifics of what they define. In general, my definition of hazing can be pretty broad. It can be something that makes any person entering into an organization of any kind uncomfortable. If there are things that the folks who are already in the chapter, in the established members, if they are doing things or saying things that are making that person uncomfortable, they can immediately come to me and discuss the possibility of that being hazing.
Okay.
So.
Were you personally hazed?
Yeah, I was definitely hazed by the school's terms of hazing.
What I went through was pledging, and there were certain things we had to do, but there was no like physical or emotional abuse, which I would consider hazing.
When I was on the football team, my freshman year, we were hazed.
But as far as hazing this year, we haven't heard a word about it.
We were, I guess, in my terms, we weren't hazed, but according to the school, we were. I pretty much think everyone who I pledged with, along with all the different sororities, not my affiliated one, we were all had a pledging process that was pretty grueling.
To be completely honest, there were phases throughout Greek life's history where hazing was common and almost expected to a certain extent.
Okay.
So,
Do you think that's something that still happens at Susquehanna?
no, I don't.
No.
I don't think that it still happens.
Well, according to university policy, does hazing exist here on campus? Then yes. I would say it does exist in all Greek life, pretty much.
So we had to eat a jar of mayonnaise split up into two teams, and the first team to finish it won. And then we had to run around the field in boxers and helmets, chanting.
Actually, mine was being able to do Rocky for the first time. That was pretty cool.
What's that?
It's a song by the Beatles, Rocky Raccoon, and Only once you become a member of the Delta Hexaton chapter are you able to participate in this, and it takes place during parties. The song Rocky Raccoon plays, and we all get together, like put our arms around each other in a circle and sing it together. And no one else is allowed in the circle at the party. Like the party stops and it's just us in the middle. And like being able, like as you were pledging, watching that and then being able to do it for like that first time is, I don't know, it was a great feeling.
Well, through my pledging process, a big thing, and I think for everyone, at least in our year, they're called call-outs. It's where the sorority members call you at random times. They could be ours were pretty much in the afternoon, daytime, or towards the evening, not too late, because academics were big on us, but then they call you out and you pretty much have a certain amount of time to get there. It could range, it's whatever they decide. And you go into a house and they kind of rapid fire questions at you or ask you things about the sorority's history. That was more for us, like things we needed to know for in the long run.
Other than that, we made them put on their helmet and run around the showers and then say a phrase standing on a chair. So I mean, it wasn't anything, you know, people are getting hurt or anything. So it was just fun, and everybody laughed about it afterward.
What do you think the university's perspective on hazing is?
Well, like, I think the school thinks it's all bad. The school only hears about the things that usually are like alcohol related or someone gets in trouble. So they don't know about all the stuff that we do that brought us together and made us like respect and appreciate the organization we were joining.
I just feel like they try to shut down Greek life here, which I feel like they should build it up more because it's a positive aspect on campus, not negative.
I think the university and the administration likes to use the word hazing to give people the idea that there's something going on that there actually isn't. So I think it really all just comes down to power relations, and the administration wants to control the behavior of the students, and when you enter something like a pledging process, you have other students controlling the behavior of students, and I think that makes them uneasy. So they use the word hazing just to give it a negative idea.
And like I think the school has done its absolute best to destroy everything that was what it was when I was a freshman.
Why do you think they did that?
Why? I couldn't tell you why. It doesn't make any sense to me because the more they try to push us away, the stronger we're gonna like push back.
I think they looked at a lot of things that happened, whether like behavior, actions, that were attributed to individuals, and they tried to blame the whole system on certain actions or certain individuals. That, like, I mean, we're in college. People are gonna make mistakes. I mean, it's a learning process whether you're in Greek life or not.
When the university sees it or hears about something bad, they think the worst of it. Like, you know, somebody could be laying bloody in a ditch somewhere. That's their perspective on it, instead of, you know, maybe a lighthearted thing like something like we did.
Could you explain some personal stories of being hazed?
My experience going through the pledging process was really fun. We used to have a saying that it was the best 7 weeks of your life that you never want to do again.
I honestly had more fun like pledging than I did in any other semester in my college career.
There's a quote that we have on one of our shirts. I think it's outside looking in, it's impossible to understand. Inside looking out, it's impossible to explain.
This letter I'm about to read is when the new pledges were the night of their initiation. We asked them each to write a letter to explain what the pledge process meant to them and how it changed them. Dear brothers of Phi Sigma Kappa, rushing and pledging Phi Sigma Kappa has been one of the most gratifying times of my life. Before my pledge process even began, you all treated me with dignity and respect. You are my friends and now have grown into so much more, a family. I was going through an awkward and difficult time in my life before pledging, and you encouraged me to pledge for my own benefit. You trusted my potential, and I trusted your helping hand. Looking back on this whole process, it encompasses so many good, hard, yet rewarding experiences. I became close to many individuals I never would have had I not pledged. I found my own potential and the potential in others. Most importantly, I found brothers, men who are there for each other through any and all obstacles, an eclectic group that comes together in times of need and times of celebration. I remember before pledging, I questioned if I'd ever retain pride enough to wear the Phi Sigma Kappa letters. I already have. Thank you for this life-changing opportunity.
After interviewing our subjects, we learned a lot of interesting facts about hazing. We learned that depending on who you ask, hazing does and does not occur on the campus. We learned that students and the university have different views on hazing, and that the word hazing is both a broad and abstract term. Most importantly, we learned that maybe we should all take a closer look at how hazing affects students in a positive way. No one knows what the future of Susquehanna's Greek life and athletics holds, but hopefully, these traditions and rituals will not be terminated.